Welcome to Get It Done Entrepreneurs, where we talk with founders of companies who bet on themselves and won. My name is Rich LeBrun, and I am the founder and CEO of LeBrun Advisory Group. You can find us at rlebrun.com. Our mission is to help our clients build wealth through business ownership. Stick around to the end of the show and we'll reveal how you can be our next guest. Our special guest today is Charles Reed from Lewisville, Texas, the suburbs northwest of Dallas. Charles owns Get Payroll, and you can find him at getpayroll.com. He's the president and CEO and founder of Get Payroll. Charles Reed is an MBA, a CPA, a U.S. Tax Court Practitioner, Internal Revenue Service Advisory Council member, employment tax expert, IRS Watchdog, and small business advocate. Sounds like someone like Charles you need on your side here. He is a business author of 3 books on business accounting and numerous articles and blogs. Charles provides himself on his exceptional service. His dedication to his customers is extraordinary. So much so that you can pick up the phone and call him directly. What other payroll services does that? Most importantly, he is a decorated United States Marine Corps sergeant, a combat veteran of the Vietnam War. He is a widower and there's a family of 5. And Charles, I just want to say thank you for your service. Okay. And I want to welcome you to the program.
Rich, thanks for the welcome. And thank you for having me on.
You know, I've been looking forward to this time for a while here. One thing also to our listeners, just so you know, Charles has been very generous. He's offering all our listeners can receive a free copy of the payroll book by using coupon code podcast at the checkout on www.thepayrollbook.com. Thank you, Charles, for doing that for our listeners. What I'd like to do, Charles, is like to have tell us a little bit about your story. You know, you started this business quite a while ago, from what I read about you. We all know that there's a lot of conversation in our minds about going all in, but tell us about your business and tell us what caused you to start your business.
After military service, I went to college because business didn't value my military experience then, as it doesn't now. And I spent 15 years in the corporate world. My first job was with Texas Instruments. My last one was with JCPenney's. And various other things, small, large, in between, startups, turnarounds, whatever. Lots of great experience. But I got very frustrated with my livelihood depending upon somebody else's whim. JCPenney's had hired me to take over a operation on the accounting side and business side in Arkansas and bring all that business side down to Texas. Well, a year later, they decided to move it back to Arkansas, to a little town in southeastern Arkansas where I had no intention of living. And so we got into argument. They said, well, that's where your job is. You can either go or quit. We don't care. That was the last straw. I knew I was never going to run a major corporation. I didn't have the political skills. I'm unwilling to stab people in the back and send them to Southeast Arkansas. So I said to my wife, I need to start my own business. And she was all for it. I grew up in a family business, so I thought I knew what it was like. So I found, frankly, I went to work as a favor to my lawyer who was fighting pennies for me with a franchise operation as COO. It was a mobile accounting service. And the board was after the president to get rid of the first office they had. So I bought it. I bought a franchise. Franchise lasted about a year, and the franchisor went belly up. The president was schlepping one of the sales girls, and the VP marketing wanted to be president, and it was terrible. So one day I went over to the franchisor office and it was closed. Door was locked, and that was the end of it. So we just kept on going. We had our own name and so on. About 6 months later, I got a letter from an attorney saying, you need to pay your franchise fees that you haven't been getting support for. So my lawyer sent him a letter back and saying, no. And if you bother us, we're going to seek sanctions against you, the lawyer, as well. Never heard from anybody again.
There you go. It was worth worth writing that letter.
It was worth a fee for him to write the letter.
Yes.
Funny thing about lawyers, about 3 months later, he called me and said, have you heard anything? I said, no, I haven't heard anything. He said, well, let me know if you do. And he sent me a bill for that phone call.
Sure, of course.
Of course. So we just changed the name and went on. And that was more than 30 years ago. So it was an accounting service. I'm a CPA, made all the sense in the world. Mobile accounting service with a payroll service bureau built in. We dealt with small businesses. It was mobile at the beginning. We had a van that we went and did accounting right at their client's site. Not a new idea. If you read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he talks about a guy doing that in the 1930s. So as technology changed, we got rid of the mobile. Email and faxes and so on made it unnecessary. But it was a major step. I had just gotten fed up with corporate life and corporate nonsense and corporate bull. Said no. Yeah, it's scary. It's frightening. The first year was tough. We did go in with clients, which helped a lot. We had a base of income when we walked in, so we weren't walking in dead. Of course, it cost me a lot more money to buy that book of business, but we did that, and it's been very successful for us. I wouldn't go back to working for anybody now, not at my age particularly. It's been a very good life. It's been tough. There have been tough times.
Well, let me ask you,
and it's not for everybody.
Right, 30 years ago, so I'm going to challenge your memory. Okay, I know you said you're talking with your wife, right? You're going to kind of go a little bit of turmoil at the time with your JCPenney situation, but you had to overcome some mental hurdles. Now you're a numbers guy, so I'm sure you looked at the numbers hard and long, but you had to do some projections to get some clients. But what other kind of thoughts did you had to wrestle with, to get yourself to go all in?
It's a whole mindset, of course, because you're now it. In the beginning, you were all the hats. You have to make all the decisions. If you're not willing to make decisions and live by them, it's not going to work. All your decisions are going to be right. You're going to make mistakes. I did. Some of them hurt, and we overcame them. The old Marine Corps, adapt and overcome. And we did. And it's hard work. I mean, the first couple of years, it's 80 hours a week. There is no, I got asked in a panel discussion here a couple of years ago as an entrepreneur about work-life balance. And I cracked up. I said, for a new entrepreneur, there is no such thing as work-life balance. It's work, period. New paragraph, end of letter. It's work. And if your partner, spouse, whatever, doesn't understand that, you're going to have problems. My wife did, and she worked with me. We ran the office together. I did the professional work. She did reception, phone, typing, filing, keeping clients happy. She was great with clients, far better than I was in schmoozing them. She was probably our best source of referrals, is people liked her and they'd refer people because of her, not because of me. I did great work. Don't misunderstand me, but I'm a CPA, and they're not known for their glad handing and backslapping.
Right.
We
so
tend
you
to
had is you
closed.
So at the beginning, obviously, it is a lot of work. There's no question about it. You built an infrastructure now. Have you added additional income streams as you built your business?
We've both added and subtracted. I sold off the accounting practice to my partner, who I'd taken on over the years. But we have other sources of income that we've added, other services, HR, timekeeping. we help with benefits. We have other things where we can, we even have a personal trainer online service that we offer. We offer a buying service.
I need to interrupt you. Payroll and personal training. Help me get there.
Well, it's for our clients' employees.
Okay.
So it's lifestyle, just like the buying service is, where you can get discount tickets and automobiles and other things. These are just services that we can add on for our clients' employees, just like we just recently added crypto payroll, where our clients' employees can get part of their payroll in crypto.
So you're adaptive. I mean, you mentioned that from your military background, right? That helps you adjust and adapt. That's what CEOs need to do.
I agree. And we were the first green payroll back in the 90s. When green was a much bigger thing, we created a green payroll system. We always try to stay on top of things and be at the leading edge, not the bleeding edge, but the leading edge. Mm-hmm. Because it attracts attention, it attracts customers, it attracts people who are interested in things that are unusual and different. So besides, we provide great services, and like you said, my clients can help my clients, or my potential clients can call and say, let me talk to Charles. And I'll pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. I tried one time to call the president of ADP just to see if I could. Got the switchboard and I said, let me talk to the president. She said, the president of what? Okay. I said, the president of ADP, isn't that where you're at? And she said, yeah. I said, can I talk to him? No. Mm-hmm. I said, you can't ring his extension? Oh, he doesn't have a phone. I said, the president of a multi-billion-dollar company does not have a phone? She sort of, well, not one we can connect to. Mm-hmm. By now I'm cracking up. I mean, this is just hilarious. So I hung up and went on my way. But that's not customer service. Even there's other companies I've dealt with that you ask for the president, they have a troubleshooter that they connect you to. You don't get to talk to the president, but he has a high-level person there that takes those problem calls and answers them. My competitors don't do that.
Today customer service seems to be hard, but it's really the easiest thing to do. Just pick up the phone, and you'd be surprised how many people are so shocked by the fact that they could talk to somebody. So kudos for you to picking up the phone in your company.
Or accountants, which I am. We get this at our conferences that I used to go to more often. The biggest complaint people have about their accountant, they don't return phone calls. That's insane. I always return phone calls. If I'm not there, leave a message. I'll call you back when I get the message. It may be 7:00 that night, and I'll call you back to let you know I got it. And I tried to reach you, and I'm in the office the next day from 10 to 2, and I'll try you again then.
Yeah, it's the old time adage to what customer service is about, but it's really the new thing that everybody needs to be doing. Let me ask you a question. Looking back, would you do anything different? Knowing what you know today, would you do anything different when you went 30 years ago if you had that opportunity?
Yes.
What would that be?
Add marketing much sooner. I thought I could market.
Okay.
Here about 8 years ago, I hired a marketing manager for the first time. She proved to me in 2 weeks that I didn't know diddly about marketing. It was one of the hats I should have taken and passed on to somebody else much, much earlier, and I didn't. I'm perfectly willing to delegate, and I do on a regular basis, and I always have, but that was one of the things that I thought I could do, and I was wrong. And I should have delegated that much, much, much earlier in the business. I'd be a lot richer today.
There you go. Oh, listeners, pay attention. Do it, Charles. Get that marketing person in there early and often.
Yes.
Can you think of any key decision you made that had the biggest impact to your success?
Well, buying the franchise, frankly, was the key. I could have just hung out my own shingle and started from scratch, but to have a turnkey operation that had procedures and policies in place made life much simpler. We work on our procedure manual literally every week. We update things. We don't do it as often as we did in the beginning because we've got most of it now. But there's things that come up literally every month that we need to write a procedure for and put it into the manual. Been in business about 8 years, and I was tearing what little hair I had left out. And I was thinking of firing everybody and moving it back into the game room and being a sole proprietor. And a friend of mine gave me a book. And it's the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Teaches you how to work on your business instead of in your business.
Mm-hmm.
I buy that book now by the dozen and give it out to clients and potential clients to teach them how to work on their business, because that is critical, to work on your business, not in your business. You're not buying a job. You have a business. You need to work on building that business. And that's critical.
That's a good segue. By the way, Michael Gerber is the guru of small business. I do the same thing. I give that business book out to many, many of my clients. I think it's helped me tremendously. So for your listeners,
I reread it periodically, and every employee that I hire is required to read it. Gets a copy and is required to read it. That's just how I roll.
very good. So we'll put that in the notes. Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited. It's a great book to get. You find it on Amazon. That said, he's through his book, he's been kind of a mentor to you through his writings. But what quotes, advice, practices do you implement into your life to keep you motivated and keep moving forward?
Couple of things that I use and I repeat on a regular basis. One is, there's never a traffic jam on the extra mile.
Like it.
Go the extra mile for your clients. Your competitors won't, and they will appreciate it.
Say that again. I love that.
There's never a traffic jam on the extra mile.
Great wisdom.
The other one, which is more personal, and I stole it from Bill Gates. People will overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade.
Wow.
It's not a sprint, people. It is a marathon. You're not going to be that unicorn. And believe me, Bill Gates didn't make all his money the first year. Neither did Jeff Bezos. Okay. It's the long haul. You may never be a billionaire, but after 30 years, I live a very nice life. I've got a very nice retirement if I ever take it. Okay. But it took me 30 years to get there. My staff says, when are you going to retire? And I say, one of these days you're going to come in and find me dead at my desk. I've retired.
Well, it sounds like you're passionate about your business too. You obviously, that's a lot of times entrepreneurs start their business, and it's not just about the business. We can liken ourselves to people who play sports. That said, I would just play sports regardless. Am I reading you correctly? You really enjoy taking care of your customers. You're probably really good at the technical side of your business. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Though my staff doesn't let me do payrolls anymore because the software's changed and so on. But I handle the IRS problems, and that I'm very, very good at. That's why I became a U.S. Tax Court Practitioner. I've got multiple cases at tax court right now for clients. And frankly, I've got 2 for podcast hosts that after the podcast said, "Hey, Charles, can I ask you a question?" So
I believe it.
I like to help people. And it's good to be passionate about your business. 30 years, if you're not passionate about it, you're going to get burnt out.
Well, you wouldn't have made it 30 years either. Sounds like you're a lifelong learner by some of the things you said, but what are you learning right now?
Oh, I've got a number of things going on. I'm learning to get old.
Okay.
Tomorrow's my 73rd birthday.
Well, happy birthday ahead of time.
Thank you. So I'm learning to deal with that. I'm learning to be a widower. The wife passed a few years ago, and that's hard. But I'm constantly, the business changes. Payroll, 75% of U.S. federal revenue comes through payroll. Every time Congress wants to change the revenue stream in any way, it affects payroll. Okay? And it affects taxes. And I'm a tax expert. So it's a constant learning experience in my industry, and you have to stay on top of things. And you have to stay on top of technology. Technology changes. When I first learned SEO a number of years ago, as we moved into the web, my SEO experience now is worthless. It's all changed. That's why I have experts working for me to handle that. Crypto. We just moved into crypto payroll this year. We are the first payroll company to do so. There'll be others if they're not already, but we were the first. And so I'm constantly learning technology, the business environment, the industry, taxes, the government, the IRS. If you slow down in this business, you're going to be obsolete.
Well, let me piggyback that question on this one here. Okay, we are facing, you're in your 70s, I'm in my late 60s, so we've faced many headwinds in our time here on Earth, but we are facing a lot of headwinds at one time now in our current economy with the war, recession, inflation, et cetera. We have a whole bunch of them. How are you navigating today's headwinds?
Carefully. and with a smile and with humor. Okay, inflation's 9%. I lived through the inflation of the 80s. I had a 12% mortgage. Okay. They're now back up to like 4.5. They were down to 2.5. I was at 12 and a half. Okay. Yeah. So experience, all these things are temporary. I've been through multiple wars. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I remember very well, I was landing in Dallas on a Southwest airline flight when the pilot announced that we'd invaded Kuwait in response to Saddam Hussein in the first Gulf War. I remember that very well. We were landing when he announced that night. So I've been through that, and ups and downs and market crashes, seen that repeatedly. In fact, on the last one we had, I called my investment advisor and said, "Don't worry, it's temporary. It'll go away." He says, "Charles, the voice of reason is so nice to hear," because he's got all these clients that are panicking. And no, market's going to go up, market's going to go down. Okay, so the voice of experience says this stuff is temporary. There's a lot of things going on, and it's very difficult for some of my clients. COVID, of course, has been devastating to a number of them. Beginning to recover from that, thank heavens, but help shepherd them through the PPP and other things. So I work with my clients. I advise them. I consult with them. I listen to them. I let them vent to me. That's all part of being a business consultant and being an advisor. And it works, but you can't let any of this stuff just rule you. It's all temporary. It's all things to be worked through. Yeah, it causes problems, dislocations. Adapt and overcome, guys. It's just keep doing it. There'll be another crisis tomorrow.
I want to ask your opinion. I get a lot of CEOs I have on this program. I always ask this question, and a lot of them said, the comment they would say, the best time to start a business is now. And they looked at times of market ups and downs, and when markets are down, they find great opportunities, and markets are up. That's easy. How would you answer that question? Is this a good time to start a business?
The best time to start a business was yesterday. The second best time is today. Okay. Should have started one some time ago. If you haven't, today's a great time to do it. It will never get better.
Great advice. Great advice. Charles, let's identify your customers for our listeners, because your industry is big, right? You can go from an entrepreneur to corporate 100 company. Who are your customers that you're looking for?
Don't do corporate 100, but our basic client we're looking for is 50 and under employees, though we do bigger companies. We have some that run several hundred. A lot of them are homegrown and have just continued to grow. somewhere around 300 to 500 clients, 300 to 500 employees, it makes sense to take it in-house. Mm-hmm. As much as ADP and Ceridian will tell you no, there becomes a lot of reasons to do so, just from the sheer complexity of it and the need to have a professional on staff. So we probably don't have anybody over about 250 employees at the moment, but 50 and under, all the way down to one. And we have a lot of one-person companies. They've incorporated for liability purposes, which makes all the sense in the world. Mm-hmm. But they need to pay themselves, obviously, as a corporation. So we do their payroll for them, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, and keeps them out of trouble. We handle all the filings, all the deposits, everything. They never have to think about it. And when the IRS screws up, and they will, we're there to fix it.
Now, can you service companies all around the country or just in Texas?
Yes. No, we service, I think we're in 47 states currently. We've been in all 50. I don't think we have anybody in Montana, Alaska, and Maine at the moment, but that'll change.
Very good. So tell our listeners, how can they get a hold of you?
Obviously, getpayroll.com on the web. We're available. They can reach me. My email is cjr@getpayroll. And if they're in a hurry, 972-353-0000. Ask for Charles.
Well, as Charles said, call him. He'll pick up the phone and talk to you. Also want to remind our listeners that you can receive a free copy of the payroll book by using coupon code podcast at checkout and at the checkout on www.thepayrollbook.com. Charles, this has been really enjoyable. I'm so grateful that you were willing to share your wisdom. 30 years of business ownership. Again, thank you for your service to our country. We're fully indebted to you for that. And I hope you and have a great day. And to our listeners, this podcast will be up on all the podcast platforms in about a few weeks. So please share this with all your business colleagues around the country. Thanks, Charles. Rich LeBrun here. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Get It Done, Entrepreneurs. If you are a successful business owner who would like to be on this program, please visit us at rlebrun.com/podcast and fill out the form, and we will reach out to you. If you got something out of this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag GetItDoneEntrepreneurs. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, rlebrun.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time.